Hello guys, welcome back to my world of fragrance. I had a sudden urge to film a spring video for you today, and I've had a few requests for this. I wasn't really planning on doing like a spring lineup or anything, but the sun is shining today. I decided to wear yellow, so let us talk about some spring perfumes. So the first fragrance that I'm going to talk about is a tea fragrance, and I love tea fragrances. This is one that I've been reaching for a lot. It's just a really easygoing, fresh tea scent that you can just wear without thinking about it. It's one that I like to start the day off with, and it's called Fig Tea. It is a mate style of tea, so that kind of green, herbally, slightly bitter tea, and then with the fruitiness of fig. So this is created more, I feel like it's more like a juicy jasmine osmanthus that is creating this fig type of feeling, but this is one that is just, like I said, refreshing, juicy, easy to wear, no-brainer, and it is created by the beautiful light hands of Patricia de Nicolaï, so I love her work. Next, I have a vetiver fragrance, but I've been wearing a lot of vetiver lately. It goes really great with springtime. But this one is not your typical very intense, rooty vetiver. This is kind of a little slow dance with vetiver, where vetiver is just a part of a symphony. This is Ponte Vecchio by Nobile, 1942. This is the male version. There's also Ponte Vecchio W, which does not have that vetiver note, but both of them are centered around the iris. It's this really nice floral dance, where in this one you also have geranium, and it's also built around some woods, so cedar and rosewood, and then you have that creeping through puff of vetiver that comes to the surface. And this one is just so great for springtime. I mean, it's one of those mood lifters for me, and another one that I can just spray the heck out of without having any issues. Both of them are unisex in my opinion. It's just a matter of whether or not you enjoy vetiver, and like I said, this time of year I am loving vetiver, so this is one of them, and yeah, do check it out. A beautiful, beautiful creation by Nobile. Next, we have a rose. I feel like I'm kind of checking all of the spring florals in this list, but from one of the fragrance brands that I have probably the most perfumes from, Perris, Monte Carlo. This is Rose de Mai, and this is such a realistic, therapeutic rose fragrance. It is of the fresh variety, but it literally smells like the most luxurious rose water. You know, the rose waters that you can get to either spray your face with or to use in cooking. It smells like distilled rose petals of a Rose de Mai. Like, it is so realistic, and I've always wanted, because people who are sensitive to perfume get encouraged to use things like rose water, chamomile water, those sort of floral essences, but the rose water has never been strong enough for me. And then I found this fragrance, which actually is that scent, but more, you know, lasting, more deep, and is in essence that scent that I just always wanted in a perfume. So yeah, check this one out, Rose de Mai by Perris Monte Carlo. In my garden, we have Il Giardino by Pantheon Roma. This is a luxury brand, as you can see by the presentation and everything, and all of their scents really smell like luxury to me. So this is walking into a luxurious garden of Eden. There's vines of ivy growing on the walls of this mysterious garden, but it's a nice bright spring day. It's not one of those mysterious gardens where you're gonna get lost and you're never gonna be able to come out. It's a very happy garden. It's a magical, upbeat garden owned by a very friendly witch. So this has, as you can imagine, tons of floral notes in here. That green ivy running through, that is running through amongst all of these flowers, bringing them together. And yeah, this is just a very refreshing yet posh smelling garden, and I love it. Il Giardino. Now we are moving into more of a peppery garden. This is Jardin Anglais by, it's by Houbigant, but this is a Fortnum & Mason exclusive that was created for them. I really love the Fortnum's exclusives that perfume brands do for them. And I'm sorry if this one is difficult to get a hold of, but I live in London and I always try out these different exclusives that they have in Harrods and Fortnum's. And this one I really like because it is a refreshing garden. Okay, so this is an English garden. We were just in the Happy Witch luxury bougie garden. Now we're in the more down-to-earth, peppery, fir balsam type of garden. That one I would say is more traditionally made for women, whereas this one I would say is more neutral. So you just have that that refreshing morning garden with a little hint of patchouli. It's not like it's a noticeable patchouli, but you have some pricks in there. It's like a prickly garden. And yeah, I like it. Another easy reach. All of these are pretty much very, very easy to reach for. Now, in the depths of a garden, you come to a bush of jasmines. And I know that it may not be the perfect jasmine season quite yet, but I really like to wear this fragrance as soon as it starts to get a little bit warmer in the air. And this is Dirty Jasmine by Heretic, which is a NYC-based brand. And they do some cool stuff, okay? So they have a lot of fragrances called Dirty, and if you know me, you know that a dirty floral is probably like the best, like the most sensual type of floral for me. A dirty jasmine, wow, now you're talking. So this smells exactly as the name says. This brand does a lot of cool collaborations, like they did a fragrance with Dita Von Teese. So they are kind of, you know, creatively, and at least in their marketing, they're very creative in how they approach perfumery. The only thing with this one is that it is very short-lived, and I forgot to say also that it is 100% natural. They are very transparent with their ingredients, so you aren't getting all of the synthetics that would usually make a perfume last even longer. But they did a great job in recreating a dirty jasmine. So an indolic jasmine, you really feel like you are smelling that bush up close. And I love a realistic floral. I love flowers in general. So if you enjoy smelling a bouquet up close and you enjoy a jasmine, definitely check out Dirty Jasmine. I even spray this on my linens sometimes as well because I just love the scent. Like I just lay back and smell the jasmine. There you go. Now I'm going to quickly mention a fragrance that I spoke about in my tuberose video, but I just really find that it is perfect for this time of year. It is Flores by Aqua dos Açores, an island tuberose that grows in a bush where you feel the marine breeze and it is not too overpowering, but yet it is very realistic in the sense of you smelling those actual florals. So yeah, a tuberose if you're looking for that. Now that we're covering all corners of the garden, we might as well talk about the tuberose as well. So yes, the light breezy tuberose, a really nice transition for people who don't necessarily feel that they are obsessed with tuberose yet, but would like to get there. Try this one out. Next is a fragrance that I'm pretty obsessed with. It is from Celine. I only have a sample of it at the moment, but it is Eau de Californie. So let's talk about Celine fragrances. They are overpriced for what you're getting. You know, you're not getting the most potent fragrances, but they smell really good. They smell very French, very classy, very stylish. And let's be real, if they had the Chanel name on them, you would probably be seeing a lot more people rave about them. It's kind of like Chanel can never do any wrong, but Celine, who has kind of relaunched this whole luxury perfume line, is getting bashed a little bit about the price to quality ratio. But I think that they smell really great. If anyone wants to get me the Celine coffret for my birthday, then be my guest, because I would love to have all of them. They all are very wearable. Anyways, Eau de Californie is supposed to be based around, you know, the Californian carefree, Palo Santo burning, high living, down to earth, surfer style people who like eating their yoga bowls or whatever they're called. So the good living Californians. And so this one has that Palo Santo and oak moss. But for me, this smells like a spicy, woody, delicious fragrance. I love spicy woods, as you know. If I were to look for a Palo Santo fragrance, this isn't one that I would recommend for specifically that genre, but if you are looking for a carefree, woody fragrance that has that French style, but spiciness and is kind of meeting the Californian cool vibes, then try Eau de Californie. It's kind of difficult to describe. You probably don't know what I mean by now, but it has that fresh opening to it and then dries down, woody and delicious. I just really like it, Eau de Californie. So check it out and let me know what you think about the Celine perfumes below. Next, sticking to the sort of spicy category and theme, we have Hortense EDP by Once, the house from 1795, which has, you know, tried to make a comeback. I still feel like they're very underrated, and Hortense is just beautiful. It's a floral, you know, a fresh floral rendition, but that is also quite spicy, but without being heavy. So it's all of those elements, but very fresh and easy to wear. You have rose here, and you have something that kind of tickles your nose a little bit. It's like this type of incense that just tickles you slightly, but in a good way, you know? It's kind of like a peppery, incensey mix along with that rose. I wouldn't say that this is a rose dominant fragrance in that sense. I would say that this is more a light spicy fragrance. And it has some sort of warmth to it as well because of these spices, and you have cinnamon in here as well. But again, it's by no means, like, just hearing those ingredients, you would think of a heavy winter-esque type of fragrance, but this is really like a spring option of all of those things that we love to wear in the winter time. And I think that this would be, you know, nice on men and women alike as well. So check out Ponte, and I feel like also their prices are quite reasonable. Like, for the quality of fragrance that you're getting, the way that things have been blended here, the price is justified. So check that out. Now we are moving into more earthy territory, let's say. I wanted to talk about a fragrance called George by Jardin. So that's a brand that has, you know, those sprayer bottle type looking things. I think they're all over sprays. You can use them as room sprays and whatnot, but they also have actual perfumes. And this one is a fragrance that starts off with fresh neroli and then has these elements of all the things that you would normally describe as manly. So there's coffee and tobacco and resins, and you have some Peru balsam as well, like the dark balsam, but all of it comes off as extremely earthy to me. Almost like smelling soiled, but you have the Peru balsam in the front. And then this is also still a light fragrance. So it's one that, you know, when you hear these notes as well, you think this is very heavy, but it is not. It is light and easy to wear, and I'm pretty addicted to this fragrance. If you've tried Toulouse by Liquide Imaginaire, this is kind of along the same realm, but using different ingredients. So you get that very nice, earthy, cooling feel as well. You know, it's quite cooling. It's not warm in any sense. And yeah, I love George. And lastly, but not least, I'm going to talk about a fragrance from Scent Trunk. So Scent Trunk is such an awesome concept because they give autonomy to perfumers that they work with, so independent perfumers, and basically they just give them an ingredient to work with and then say, hey, create something from this ingredient and from this overall theme. So this is a perfume created by Maya Njie, who I like her work a lot, and this one is around the ingredient of Treemoss. So sticking to this kind of earthy, walking out in nature barefoot type of feel, we have a recreation of the scent that it would be like walking in Palliser Park in Macedonia. So full of these trees, and for me, there is something extremely addictive in this fragrance. You get a lot of tree bark, and it's almost like you're going into the core of the tree. It's almost like sappy, like you get this amber color type of feel, but amongst a tree. So it's not a gooey amber, it's a dry tree moss type of ambery feel. So if you really miss being out in nature and you don't want to go down the straight up garden route and you want that very realistic feel of being surrounded by trees and, you know, in a very interesting, unique way, then check out Scent Trunk. And I wholeheartedly support this entire concept. I really need to try more of these. So I think that that was it for fragrances that I wanted to talk about for this spring. I have been reaching for these ones. There's some that I have on my wish list as well. And yeah, let me know what you've been wearing this spring, what you look forward to be wearing perhaps. I wear everything that I love all year round, as you know, but you know, just following what people expect for springtime fragrances, I created this list for you. So I will see you in my next video, and thank you so much as always for all of your support and for watching my videos.